So in a few years' time, as we keep on, preparing to refine our oil for domestic and, of course, regional markets, we're also preparing, interestingly, for a petrochemical industry, and that is supposed to produce plastics. Raw materials, I beg your pardon, raw materials for plastics. I don't know if you knew about that oil also has some bit of plastic in it. That's why I have with me Paul Busharizi. Some things I don't understand, and I think we get too excited over oil. I don't know if he thinks the same. Paul, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Are we getting too excited over oil? And I'm sorry I'll keep asking this question over and over because every other day there's something about oil, but it seems like decades away.
It's taking a long while to come out. Well, I think we should be excited about oil. It would probably bring about, I think they estimate about $2 billion a year in export earnings, at least, to the country, which is a good thing.
What is it doing right now? With all the talk about oil prospects, oil. Is there anything tangible from it, from that talk?
No, absolutely. There's a lot of stuff going on. I mean, the people of Western Uganda, the Hoima area, are seeing roads being built and all that kind of business. And actually, maybe one thing we need to pay attention to is that there's going to be a lot of action happening between, let's say, now and when oil comes out in around 3 to 5 years.
Okay.
There's going to be building of roads, there's going to be building of infrastructure, pipelines, refineries. This is where the action is, this is where the money is. They estimate that between now, let's say this is 2018, and by the time first oil comes out, maybe in 3 to 5 years, the investment put down will be $20 billion, at least at the higher part, $20 billion. Now, if you think about that, $20 billion, the economy of Uganda is $25 billion. So you're going to put in an additional almost double the economy, that investment. There are going to be jobs, you're going to be supplying food, you're going to be doing all sorts of services. The question is, are you going to be in the right place to tap the money? It's not going to be for free.
Well.
Never is.
We'll get there.
Absolutely.
That is what you say. Absolutely. So tell me about this petrochemical industry. Do we really need it?
No, absolutely. First of all, the interesting thing, of course, all of us, we know fuel is a result of oil. But the component of fuel is there you talk about petrol, maybe diesel, kerosene, and maybe aviation fuel. Is only 30%. If you have 100 liters, 30 liters of that might go to these fuel products. There's a 70% of it. 70% of it can go to plastics, or what they call polymers, which they then convert into plastics. It can go into creating components for fertilizer. There's also natural gas. Off the top of my head, those are things. There are also things like bitumen, which we use for tarmacking the roads, and that kind of thing. And there's also other heavy fuel oils which can be used in industry. So there's a lot. In fact, the president's or the government's insistence on the refinery is going to be the game changer, because anyone can pipe out oil. But the byproducts that will come from this and the industries that will be created around it, that's where the action is going to change things for Uganda.
Okay, so somewhere they say Uganda is set to become a top regional plastic producer.
Well, just by default. I mean, no one else produces plastics in the region. We import the components to produce the jerrycans and stuff, but no one has the raw material. We have to import that raw material.
Kenya does not do that?
Well, they import the raw material from the oil-producing countries.
Well, but they also have oil coming up soon.
Well, it's going to take longer than us. If we are going to take about 5 years, they probably will take about 10 years to get their oil out, if it's even there.
So this is really viable. This is something we can look forward to.
No, absolutely. I mean, and the market is just humongous. I mean, if they took out plastics out of our lives now, we would collapse, literally.
Am I wearing anything plastic?
Your shoes, maybe your heels are plastic. Who knows, The elastics all over you are made of plastic and all that kind of business. But, think about it. Basins, jerry cans, even our furniture, fixtures, it's all plastic. And the market for it, of course, if you just think of the refinery being in Hoima and just do a radius of even 200 kilometers, let's say 300 kilometers, you get to Kampala, you go all the way, Eastern Congo, you're down in Rwanda, you're northern Tanzania. The market, that's more than enough market to do. Yeah. So it's so doable. It's amazing.
You know, when I go to sleep, I pray that this oil starts coming out soon, because there's a lot, really. There's a lot that has been talked about it.
Actually, for me, I think that if it doesn't come out soon, it will be even better.
Why?
Because in 2006, they discovered what they call commercial viable quantities of oil that we can actually invest to pull out this oil and we'll make money. That's a commercially viable thing. That's 2006.
I was in senior 6.
I didn't want to say. 2006. In the sources, they went around some hype that in 3 years we can pull out the oil. So in 2009, we should have been pulling out oil. This is 12 years later, we haven't pulled out oil. But in the process, we've got our laws together, we've got our institutions together. There's a oil company, there's a petroleum authority, and all that. So we are kind of institutionally ready, and even mentally every day we're being prepared for it. I mean, if you had taken out oil, let's say even 5 years ago, Ugandans would have seen very little of that money because they're not prepared for it. You're talking about, you know, like for example, just give an example. Let's say you're going to need 2,000 trucks just to fuel, not to fuel, to move things, you know, rigs and all sorts of big things.
True.
And these trucks have to have certain specifications. In Uganda, when they try to do a pole, we don't even have 200 that are usable to those standards. Even 200, I'm stretching it. It's probably 100.
What?
That was a survey done, maybe this is 2018, maybe a survey done maybe about 2013, 14. Maybe now it has improved. It takes time to build this capacity. So for me, personally, the longer it stays away, the better for us, because we'll get stronger. We'll be able to take advantage, yeah.
And
I mean, they need, in those 2,000 trucks, they need 3, let's say, certified drivers, internationally certified drivers. One is a driver, one is a co-driver, and then the third one is or whatever.
Yeah.
That's the third guy. All these guys have to be international certified, not these funny permits of yours of around here.
Oh my God. Yeah.
If you check in Uganda, you'll be lucky to, those are 6,000. Because 3 times 2,000, those are 6,000. You'll be lucky to have 100. But people are now going, you know, retooling and upgrading their thing. So hopefully by the time we get...
I heard that there's also a certifying institute coming up.
For various things, plumbing, welding, you know, other things, electricals, all sorts of stuff, So
can I also go
and
get certified in what?
Whatever, you can be a driver, you can get certified as a truck driver. You know, well, it's not a crime.
No, it's not.
You make good money. Those drivers are paid much better than any drivers you know here.
Maybe I can be certified in making noise for them.
Who knows? You never know.
Right, this has been The Handshake. Thank you so much, Paul.
You're welcome.